Discord. Okay, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen from all over the world. Welcome to another joint meeting of the Hong Kong Study Circle and Hong Kong Philatelic Society, sponsored by FIAP, the Federation of Inter-Asia Philately. And we are very thankful for them to sponsor us with our program this evening. The theme of this evening meeting is Hong Kong errors. So whatever you can think of, I mean, I suppose I should put inverted commas to the errors so that you can think of anything you like, or printing errors, human errors, whatever you can think of. But I think before I actually start the meeting proper, I would like to congratulate our editor, who is here, I think Professor Shaw, for doing the journal. He has finished the journal, editing the journal, and can you see? So this is the what it will look like. The journal for the centenary of the Hong Kong Philatelic Society. So would Professor want to say a few words about the front cover of the journal? The concept of the design?
Yes. Oh, in fact, I need to thank a lot of people in contributing to the different articles. We have quite a big volumes for this particular issue, maybe around 180 something pages. Hope it's not too heavy to mail. But you can see from the cover that we got the old and the new emblems of the societies, and also got the old GPO and the current GPO. And also there are two big wheels on the left and on the right. And according to our graphic designer, these are the wheel of the time, showing the changes of those of the stamps and also the postage over the past 100 years. So I hope you would like the journals, and hope it can be out by the end of this month.
Next week, I think.
Yeah, we will collect it next week.
The locals will get it next week if they come to my office. And it's another interesting point is that I think the designer has actually chosen all these 1921 postmarks to put here. So it's just quite interesting.
Well, I asked him to do so, in fact.
You asked him to do so. Well done. Anyhow, so we look forward to that.
Yeah.
Right, Sarah is here. Okay. So without further ado, I think I shall start the meeting. Right, okay. So Sarah, are you there?
Yes.
You are, okay, right. So just let me let you, let me see, let's see. So wait. Okay, let me just stop sharing, and then I shall let you share your screen.
Yes.
Right.
Hopefully.
Okay. Good. Yes. So. Oh.
Okay. Can you hear me? Is it all right?
Very well. Thank you.
Oh, good. I wanted to talk about I like the King George V errors or plate flaws. Some of them are very attractive and interesting. As you can see here, hold on, let's go to the next.
You have to share your screen.
Yes, I've shared it. Is it not showing?
Nope.
Oh no. Okay, I'll go back.
Yeah, you have to. There's a green button. Say share screen.
No,
either at the top or bottom of your Zoom
The middle in the bottom. Sorry. Okay, share. No, look.
Once you've selected share screen, Sarah, you need to then select your program to display.
I just did, but it wasn't happy. Now it's lost the meeting. Okay, here it is here. Okay, share screen. And in the PowerPoint.
Sarah, I guess you have to allow your video because we don't see you. That means your video is not operating. So first you allow your video, then you'll share screen.
That's right. Ask to start.
Video.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Now can you see it?
Is
it
it
working
black?
now?
Is it blacks? Yeah.
Okay, now? Is it working now?
Not yet.
No.
No, your video is not on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is your
Okay.
camera switched on?
Yeah, and camera's not working. I thought that the share screen should work. Okay, never mind. All right, you go on to Susan, and I'll have to deal with the
Yeah,
camera.
you have to figure out first. Okay. All right. So it's a bit of a technical problem here, but I'm sure that Sarah would fix it a little bit later. So maybe Susan, you are doing the second part, following up with Sarah.
Yeah, I'll start.
Yeah. Why don't you start first? Yes.
Actually, yeah. Right. Hello, everyone. We've chosen to show the George V plate floors, Web 22, Hag 10, which is damage to the top of the crown on the 1 cent, 2 cent and 4 cent from the second definitive set. This is plate 1, southwest pane, and identified as row 6, number 4, from requisition Y. Webb states that sometimes all the pearls at the right are almost missing. At other times, only those at extreme right almost missing. Emphasizing there, the right-hand side has the damage. And then it mentions the scallops, the upper right part of the medallion, often almost lacking. And that it's only on the 1, 2, and the 4 cents. Now, I've had the opportunity to look at several different examples of these. The 2 cents fits the pattern. Sorry, I've gone too far. Here's the 2 cents. It fits the pattern. You've got the crown damaged on the right-hand side. And you've got the damage to the scallops all along the top right-hand side. Now I came across a 4 cents, which looks different. There's damage on the left-hand side of the crown. And less damage at the upper right on the scallops. It's further down, sort of 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And then I found examples of the 1 cents, and this is different again. There's much more damage on the left-hand side, making it more symmetrical. And the scallops on the upper right-hand side are fine. The damage seems to be the 2 to 4 o'clock. And I began to wonder whether perhaps these were 3 different floors rather than the same floor, because they're not illustrated either in Webb or in Nick's book. I presume he didn't have any to photograph. And here they are, the 3 different types, the 1, 2 and 4 cent. And you can see the difference in the crowns and the difference in the scallops. Having chance to look at pairs and blocks, I began to realize that there were other similarities. There's a group of white specks by the chin on all of these 3 values. There's a white dot on the nose of the stamp next to it, here and here, which suggests then that they must be the same floor. There is another fly speck floor that unfortunately I couldn't enlarge clearly enough for people to see on the stamp below this one. It's a tiny little nick in the scallop about there at that point. And that occurs on the 1 cent and the 2 cents directly below. So these are the same floors. Why are they so different? Well, all I can think of is that they printed one value, found that it wasn't printing correctly, and they took it out, fiddled with it and put it back, thinking that it was all right. An error of judgment, because when the next value was printed, that wasn't right either, but it was different. So they took it out, fiddled with it again, put it back, still not right. So we have the 3 different types, but they are the same floor. I also have a $10 from the first set that has a floor on the crown that I can't identify, and if anybody can help me, I'd be delighted. And this was Sarah's that I hope that she's going to be able to show again with a floor that's similar to the 1 cent, but without the specks, that we'd be delighted to be able to properly identify. There we go.
Very nice.
Now, if anybody can help me, I'd be delighted.
Yeah.
Susan, could it be on the 1, the 2 and the 4, could it be a progressive floor?
Well,
Or doesn't it look?
it doesn't get gradually worse, it changes. The 2 cents, it's very much on the right.
Mm-hmm.
The 1 cent, it's very much across the top. And the 4 cents is sort of in between, as if they did the 2, then the 4, and then printed the 1 cent.
But you've never found, okay, you've never found, okay, something on the 1 cent, it's different from the 2 cent and different from the 4 cent,
Yes.
always different.
Of the examples I have seen, yes, there's slight variations, as Sarah was going to show, but for the most part,
that $1 is different too.
Those values
Hey,
are printed in
hi.
large numbers.
You can see
in
now.
one.
Yeah. And so as far as I can tell, they are the same, even though they look different, but they're not progressive like you get on some of the other floors.
Because they need to have been printed 1, 2, 4. They probably printed the 4 first because that was a more useful value. I don't know.
Yeah, it could well be, but they're all the same requisition Y, aren't they? Yeah. Yes. It is possible it occurs on other values and have not been identified. It's
Anyway, you've definitely got it is the same stamp, i.e. the same position on a sheet.
positional floor. Yes.
Very nice. Do you find them on
Susan?
covers?
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh, wow.
I'm hopeful.
We,
You know,
we do look.
we do look.
Yes.
I
yes.
have a 2 cent on the cover.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
Yes. Because I think the stamps, yeah,
Susan, can I ask?
collectors would have spotted the stamps and then taken it out, so that you might not have a lot of covers. Very interesting. It'd be nice to actually look for usage on covers and things like that. Right.
Susan, can I just ask a question of Susan?
Yeah.
Yes, Ingo.
Yes. So I look for these flaws too, and these are very common stamps. They're easy to get in large quantities, but I've looked through literally thousands of these, and the flaws are very scarce.
Yeah.
How many stamps did you have to look through to come up with these examples you showed us?
Millions.
Oh, about 4 or 5, something like that, of the 1 cent and the 2 cents. But I've only got one of the 4 cents. I've only ever seen one of the 4 cents. But the 1 cent and the 2 cents do crop up. I've seen several examples.
Really?
And the fly speck floors are the same each time.
Yeah.
It's having the requisition block.
A labor of love.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much for tipping us off. We'll start looking. I don't even know that you get these damaged crown on the 4 cent.
I'm amazed they've not been listed in somewhere like Gibbons, Sandy Gibbons.
Have you written to them? Have you written to them?
Oh, they know.
Oh, they know. They know about it, but they can't identify it. They couldn't identify. They had some for sale, but they weren't correctly described.
Yeah.
Oh, you bought them.
On the China overprints,
yeah,
I have a 1 cent with the Web 22 on the China overprint, but no 2 cent or 4 cent.
That's interesting. Right, Sarah, you ready?
No, I've swapped over to the iPad now, and that's why the camera is working, but it doesn't have the power.
You don't have the.
So I'll just.
That's a shame. Yes, maybe we can. Do a part 2.
Enjoyed students.
I've got it on. She sent it to me, Andrew. I might be able to do it.
Oh, okay. All right, that would be nice.
Hang on.
Well, what you can do is, Susan, you can post it, and Sarah could talk about it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm going to try and do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See what I can do. Share.
While Susan is posting, concerning flaws and varieties and that sort of thing, the catalogs don't list everything, as we're seeing right now. They have to have seen them in quantity, I suppose, before they start accepting that these things are actually out there.
Sometimes their choice seems rather arbitrary.
There you go, Sarah.
Well done. Thank you. Very good technology.
Yeah.
Just tell me when to change it.
Okay. Well, that's the same as yours. Only the 1 cent China overprint is added, and the $1. So next screen. There we go. There's the 1 cent. You can see the 1 cent to add to Susan's examples. Yes. Go to the next one. And the 2 cent, I've got those 2, and the 4 cent.
Oh no, I haven't got a 4 cent.
I think actually there you go. I haven't got any 4 cent, but I've got this $1, which isn't listed, and you can see it's slightly different, and it doesn't have the damaged scallops. So I'm not 100% sure about it, but it's not listed anyway. So if anyone has any suggestions that it might be something different, I don't know. I've only got the 1.
We've been looking.
And I think
we've been looking.
Yep, keep looking. Thank you. Thank you, Susan, for showing that.
Okay, Sarah.
Yes, Sarah.
That's really round the world technology.
I'm amazed I managed to do it.
Question, seeing that these flaws and very similar flaws are appearing on, 1 cent, 2 cent, we had $1 and other values, all the designs are the same. The only thing that changes is the value part of it. Is that correct? And what I'm trying to get at is what the flaw occurs on some standard plate that was used to make all these other plates.
Yeah, it's one little unit in the same place on the sheet.
Yeah, but why is it appearing on the same on the 1 cent, 2 cent, 4 cent, $1, and I thought I heard $10 too.
Well, the stamps were printed in two sections. The plate, the head plate and the duty plate are separate, even if it's the same color. So the head plate has the floor. So it could occur on the 1, the 2, the 4, the 5, and so on. That help?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the key plate system. So the head was the key plate, and actually for George V there were two key plates.
That's right.
But the duty plate was just for one particular value, and there was only one for each value.
So this could appear on all the values then.
Yeah.
Possibly. Yes. Keep looking.
We're going to be busy.
I think it
but going beyond that, the head plate is similar to head plates used for other territories by Crown agents. It's only the frame that is particular to Hong Kong. Does anyone know if they actually were using a head plate only for Hong Kong, or was it a head plate that was used by De La Rue for whatever they happened to need it for?
No,
as far as I know, it was just
Hong
for
Kong key plate was unique. It wasn't used on any other the colony.
The head was unique.
Although maybe the engraving of the actual head was the same, but then the surround on that they used would be different.
Right. Thank you.
So you have to compare that with a George V from where could it be?
Yeah.
Very up on.
I can't remember of that. I'm sure there are others.
Okay. Any questions for to Sarah and Susan before we start looking this evening on various sources of the stamps? No. So okay. So Nick, you are next on the agenda.
Okay.
Yes.
Shall I kick off?
Yes.
Okay. I'm mainly talking about the three major George VI errors. I've just lost you. How do I get back to the meeting? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
I can also see part of your screen, a tale of three errors. Yeah,
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's it.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. So let's go to the slideshow. So the first one I would talk about is the imperforate 8-cent brown. And in our book on David and my book on George VI, which is well out of date now, there was what they think just one sheet that was issued at a branch post office in 1946. And most of them were probably used because at that time it was the 8 cent was the basic letter rate to China, Macau too, I suppose. And just one strip of 10 survived. The others were the postmark, the postal clerk at that sub post office had to just tear them into strips and singles or pairs or whatever. And they think that one strip of 10 survived, which came from the right-hand side of the left pane. These stamps were printed in, they were 120 set, which was 2 panes of 60. And what exists today, what we know exists today from that strip of 10 are a strip of 3, a pair, and a strip of 3. So that two have gone, probably used. Mm-hmm. And there was a block recorded at a London International in 1960, which proved to be fake. And somewhere I read that we had stated that, but I can't remember how I knew it was a fake. That's lost in the mist of time. This is the Hong Kong Philatelic Society newsletter for June 1989. And then the bottom there's the late Jack G, who unfortunately I met at a meeting in Portishead and arranged to go down to visit him and see his collection. Unfortunately, he passed away, so I never got to see his collection. He had that pair, which came from the bottom of a strip of 5. So he illustrated a strip of 5, and this is his pair, which came from the bottom. The top strip of 3 is currently available from a dealer in South Africa if you want it, price on request. And on the left is a strip from lower down that side, a strip of 3 that was ripped into a pair and a single and then have been somehow joined together again. This is an article by my guru, Richard Lockyer, OBE, and he shows a nice picture of the complete strip of 5 from the top. And that's his article. There are points that is a bit confusing sometimes. Oh, this is where he says here, however, Harewood and Anshall state in their handbook that the block proved to be a fake. We did state it, but I have no idea how we knew that. That's gone. And here I've put together, here you can see that the strip of 3 from the top and the pair at the bottom, below, were at some stage together. That cut seems to follow that. Mm. And so I've numbered them. That's row 1, stamp 6, row 2, stamp 6, row 3, stamp 6, and that's the join. Now, the other strip of 3 doesn't come from below 5, 6. That doesn't look like it. They were together, does it? Mm. What do you think there?
Doesn't match up.
No. So what it looks like is that that certainly is not row 6, stamp 6, which means it could be row 7, stamp 6, or row 8, stamp 6. Now, I think it's probably 7, 6, because if it had been 8, 6, I'm wondering whether the person would have actually taken the selvage off the bottom. Unless, of course, they weren't thinking about keeping it as a philatelic item. That was the strip that was ripped into a pair and a single and then put back together again. So that's a mystery. I have no idea whether that strip, whether that is stamp 7/6 or stamp 8/6. Could be either. If it's stamp 8/6, then the selvage at the bottom is missing. Just the top strip of 3. This is it was sold to Sir Percival David by Dalous in 1955, and this is the letter. As regards, it looks like Sir Davy wanted to be reduced to £75, but he wasn't going to let it be reduced to £75. So that's the top strip with the perforation pinning point there, which this is plate. This was on a plate where they were eccentric, so they were either left or right of the center of the interpano gutter. That's a close-up of the letter. So this was a letter enclosing that strip of 3. Unfortunately, I can't read this. I've got you then. So this is saying that that strip was reported in August 1989 to have been sold for £14,000. So already doing much better than whatever it was in 1955. Here's the pair. Again, this is something I've kept from the Hong Kong Philatelic Society, just talking about the pair there. That sold in 1989 for the pair sold for £7,250, which makes that 14,000. Sounds strange, doesn't it? Anyway. Which at the time was over 100,000 Hong Kong.
It's a lot of money.
There's the pair. And it came up again in the Graham Cooper collection auction in 2016. It's featured on the cover. And then it sold for 40,000. That was sold by Spink. That was just a close-up of that. Here's the second strip of 3. Now, somebody mentioned a strip of 3 sold to a European police inspector in the 60s for around £1,000. Though unused, it had been fixed to an envelope and roughly removed with paper attached. Now, I don't know whether the strip we keep seeing that was rejoined again, whether that actually has paper on the back. That's the only reference I've ever seen to it of having paper stuck on the back. It came up, Cavendish sold it in, or had it up for sale in, did I ever get work? I never worked out the date of that. I cut it off, but anyway. There they had a starting price of 12,000 to 15,000 pounds.
Sorry, Nick, just to interrupt you there. I have a date on this one, 15th of October 03 for that strip in Cavendish.
15 October 2003. Yeah, thank you. A lot of catalogues actually have the date on each page, but Cavendish obviously didn't.
What was the realization of that?
Oh, here it is. It was 14,950. What was the start? It didn't. So in between the 12 and the 15, wasn't it? I'm not sure which, is that a Cavendish catalogue page?
Yeah, Yes, I think
Did they
the
have
borders,
colored pages like that?
the borders looks a bit like Cavendish style.
So that's from the same catalog that that page came from. So no blocks. That's that. This is the odd thing. I've never ever heard about this other than this reference. Bridger and Kay advertisement in December 1969 offered a used example for £250. Has anybody else heard of that before?
Never.
And that was mentioned by Richard. Actually, I should contact him and ask him how he knew that, because in August 2003. So basically now we have 2 strips of 3 and a pair. 1 strip of 3 and a pair being together. Next floor is 4 cent. This is 14.5 times 14, double printing, which a lot of people don't know about. Harmer's offered it in March 1993, private treaty, price on request. Then later that year, 30th of, I can't see if it's June or July, because I can see all I can see is Ingo's face, which isn't bad. But anyway, later that year, they actually put it into an auction with an estimate of 10,000. You can see the double printing here. There's the cents, and then above is that cents.
Never seen that before.
No, I haven't either.
No, people haven't heard about it, but it's quite spectacular, isn't it?
Was that mentioned in your book? I don't think so.
No,
I don't remember.
I didn't know about it.
No, it wasn't.
Ah.
Because this is 1993. The book was written in 1992.
Okay.
We were gazumped. Now, what's unfortunate about this is showing it closer, is look what a vandal did. That's a pane from the same printing. Look, 33887, 336. Somebody removed all this margin, which would have had all the double print, that extra print on it would have been beautiful.
Perhaps
and
the printer
some vandal ripped it off.
Yeah, perhaps the printer did, just to hide the mistake.
Could have done.
Yeah, but why did he? So that would mean, oh, you're right. They may have seen the error and taken it off before it was distributed, so it wasn't as obvious.
Yes, perhaps.
Because it's a wartime printing, so they weren't going to waste it. So I still regard it as being vandalized.
Good point.
Officially vandalized.
Well, the other thing that hits me, if I may, down the right pane, look at all the watermarks that are sticking out. For a forger, that is really gold.
Yeah.
But this paper that they use, it is watermark is particularly, easy to see.
Well, then that's not the point. The point is you've got watermark paper on which you can apply all sorts
I see
of
what you mean,
forgery.
Yeah.
But I suppose 4 cents wasn't. Well, I suppose it could have done a higher value, of course. No.
Well, inverted, all sorts of neat stuff.
4 cent is interesting because this is actually from somebody was using Delarue's plate, but it was too wide, so they'd reduced the gutter but it was still too wide. So most of the sheets, they put the two panes together. And this is from that, it's actually from a sheet of 120 stamps with no interpano gutter. If you get a sheet of this on this paper with the with the interpano gutter, then grab it, because they're really, really rare.
Is that the rough paper?
Huh?
The rough paper?
It is rough paper,
Yeah,
yes.
rough paper. Wow.
And the next one is the 50 cent per 14.5 printed on both sides. Now, this is interesting because before it was even, well, I don't know if it's interesting, before it was even catalogued, nobody knew about it. And I was sorting out a set of the 4 values in plate blocks to sell on eBay. And I flipped the 50 cent over, and there it was. There was it printed on the back. And so I think I put it on eBay with I think I put it on for starting price of 15,000 US. Of course, it didn't go, but it had something like 500 hits, people looking at it. And then it became it went into the catalog. And then there was some auction house in the States sold a whole sheet of it and most of a sheet of it. And then the value just plummeted. This is what's odd about it is this is a true offset. If you can imagine a sheet is on top of a sheet that's just been printed, and some of the ink is transferred. So if you turn that top sheet over, the second image is a negative, obviously. Because that's the same block being flipped over. But the odd thing about this one on the 50 cent is it's a positive offset. I flipped it. It's a plate block from the top left of the sheet. So the plate number is here. And the second print on the back is upside down. So I flipped the block round, and here you can see the marginal rule at the bottom. There it says 50 cents. There it says Hong Kong. And there's the king looking right. Whereas if it was a true offset, he would be looking left. So how did this happen? I think I tried to explain it somewhere. Did I? Yeah. Somebody was reporting that I thought this variety is a sheet of interleaving was placed on a newly printed sheet, resulting in a negative image on the interleaving. The interleaving was then somehow flipped over and the next sheet was put on it, which resulted in a positive. That may be a little far-fetched, but it was the only thing I could come up with. And there was more than one sheet. There was probably 2 sheets, because I've seen 2 plate blocks from the top left with it, with that second print. That was my block on the block in Interasia. Now QE2, you have the imperf 5 cent.
10 cent.
There's Spink again. That somebody kindly gave me that. What is that, Neil? It was like a trial print for a page. So I've trimmed off around the edge. It's got color marks and things. That's valued possession of mine. It's the closest I'll ever get to it.
I think it's probably for a test for an advert, so.
But it shows you that the sheet was, it only got, the comb only hit once. The sheet was bottom fed, meaning it was put into the perforator from the bottom. So there was one hit of the comb, and then for some reason that was all there was. The rest of the other 90 stamps were imperforate. There's a plate. So from the top of the sheet, it would be imperforate. Now, I've found two numbers with the serial sheet number and the consignment letter, and look, 49 and 54. So that's 50, 51, 52, 53.
Several sheets.
That means there could have been another 4 sheets. I've never seen any other numbered blocks. Those, I've never owned those. As you can see, they've been gleaned from catalogs. And Stanley Gibbons had, of course, that block could be that block trimmed down, but I'm pretty sure that's two different sheets. Or just perforation errors. These sheets were top feed. The sheets were fed into the perforator from the top, and there was a premature hit of the comb. If you look at the holes down to here, can you see that they look like they're doubled?
Yeah. Because
they've been hit twice with the comb. And even more dramatic here on this $1.30, it's sort of, the holes are so close together that they punctured the paper. And common, this is quite common, sheet was folded before perforation. This one's nice because you can see an offset from, it was obviously folded very soon after printing, because you can see the Jubilee line and the frame of the stamp. More of the same. Some of them are quite dramatic because you've got large portions of stamps imperforate. Sorry about this. This came from a mock-up for a monograph I started about 25 years ago. That's odd. Don't know how to explain that. That's how I bought it, unfortunately. I don't know what happened to the selvage below and below. These were 5 sheets that were obviously perforated together. Because if you can imagine, this one was bottom and slowly go to the top, because if you can imagine the bend, that meant it got closer to the edge. These I found, I bought one time, long time ago, I bought about, somebody got 300 plate blocks and 300 serial sheet number blocks from 300 sheets. And I was just going through them and I suddenly found these five together. This is a diagonal watermark. Michelle, here's your watermarks, look.
Lovely.
So the paper was cut correctly. The watermark is aligned properly, but the sheet was printed and then perforated at an angle. So consequently, you've got your reversed watermarks, your inverted watermarks. This is a diagonal watermark. These, I'm pretty sure, are contrived. That just seems too ridiculous. Look at that one. Even a block with the short R. That's even more bizarre, isn't it? Oh, and sheet number changes. This is an error. The number was wrong. So they've had to add 1,000 here. This is odd because one time it was 6,499 difference, and this time it's 6,500. 6,500 again. It's the same. Production error. Here, how can I? The block at the bottom, the sheet was printed with this part folded underneath. So that meant the ink on the, whatever you call it, the platen, the base. And then when the next sheet went on, it picked up that ink on its gum side. Is that a bit? Nice, that was. That's gone, unfortunately. I've sold it. That's a close-up of it. I don't know what happened to that stamp there. Coil join. I've only ever seen that one ever in any colony. There's the coil join. This is just something that ink there is missing, and it's not a case of rubbing or anything. The chalky surface to the paper was completely intact. Flaws, which I'm not. That's it. Thank you. How do I stop sharing? You are sharing. Stop share. That's it. What we're all looking out for is a cover with one of those imperfect 8 cents on. There are at least 90 of them. Sorry, not 90. There are at least 110. There were.
So 8 cents rate going to what, China and Japan at that time?
No, it was China. It was China and Macau.
China and Macau. Okay.
And then that rate went up after the war to 10 cents, and that's when they stopped printing the 8 cent.
Yes.
And they could use it for that receipt stamp. They could overprint what was left.
As I'm thinking of all those perforation errors, has anyone ever seen the machine that they use to do this, and how, you know, by feeding the paper in improperly, those strange perforations might happen?
Well, they're paper folds that weren't noticed when the sheet was fed in. No, I've never seen. I would love, that's the whole, I've been looking for 40 odd years to find out all the machines, to actually see them. They're hard, can't find them. Can't find pictures or even descriptions.
I will show you one in a moment.
Yeah.
But I'm also quite feeling quite strange that how can a machine can make these sort of odd perforations.
The ones where the paper's folded, I can understand. What I can't understand is, for example, how that 30 cent went in at a strange angle.
Human error.
Well, but again, it was a wartime printing. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe they were having to do things in haste, or.
I think they were perforated, I think not one sheet at a time, right? I mean, they have several sheets together.
I think it was one sheet at a time.
One sheet at a time.
Yeah. And that's why those 5 sheets that I showed you of the Queen Elizabeth 5 cent were perforated together. That's because of a fold. 5 sheets had a fold, was folded at the top, and so went in as
one sheet. Yeah, it was
as
just
a-
stuck together.
Are you sure they were only printed one at a time? I mean, I've no knowledge on De La Rue, but I thought some of the printers I've heard of actually printed more than sort of five sheets at a time. Or
Perforate.
Do you mean perforate?
Yeah, perforate. Yeah.
Perforate. Yeah, put them into the
hours. You know, to perforate the whole, whole stack of stamps.
But I used to think that it was more than one, but I've heard from 2 or 3 reliable sources that it was only one.
Only one sheet.
All right. That 30 cents, it seems incredible too that the perforation, it's out of kilter, but the perforation is well aligned with the printing even so.
Yeah, well, they used they obviously used, they may have realized what had happened, but they used the perforation pinning points. There are
points.
There's somewhere at the top of the sheet and the bottom sheet where a pin goes, so that it's aligned correctly. And obviously they just went ahead and did that rather than
waste.
Again, that was a wartime printing, so maybe they were always careful, weren't they? These security printers, everything had to be accounted for. So
waste not, want not.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions? Right. Shall we move on to Professor Shaw?
Okay.
You got the anemone to show, right?
Okay, I will share the screen with you first. Do you see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. It's beautiful, huh?
My favorite portrait of the Queen.
Yeah, I need to get that down. It's a bit stuck. Yes. So this is in fact the second issue of the definitive stamps, and it spans from 1962 to 1973, just after the first issue Nick has just shown. And so the printing was carried out by this printing office, Harrison's and Sons, using a new method called photographia methods. Okay? I will tell you what how this method works in a moment. And there are 2 formats. One is the small format from 5 cents to $1, which is they are monochrome, so there's only one color. But the 5 higher value from $1.30 to $20, they are in large format, and they have 5 different colors. Okay? And they are printed in 5 different steps. Okay, so for the head of the Queen, you get the pale yellow, and then part of the head and got the orchard, and also you get the red here. And for the coat, it will be dark blue, and then also with the gray colors. And besides these 5 different colors, there would be different colors in the background also. So this is the first day covers. You can see that the small format are monochromes, and these are the large format. Basically, the Queen has the same styles and colors, and the background, they are different for different values. And talking about the photographia printing, so in fact, the image was etched using a photographic process onto a metal cylinder. And then So after etching, you get the recessed cells, or you call it cells. They would be fused with the ink when these printing cylinder rolls over ink trough. It is filled up with the ink. Okay. And then you have a daughter plate to scrape away the extra ink, and then a piece of paper would be rolling over, and then with the ink inside these cells would be stick onto the paper. And so I have shown you the different colors of the queens, for the different part of the queens, and each color would have its own printing unit. Okay, so the paper would pass from one unit to another unit. Okay. So there are quite a number of different errors in printings. So far, I have found quite a number of different things. Okay. So the first would be the dry print. Dry print means that the ink trough, this ink trough, runs out of ink, and so there would not be sufficient ink stick onto these cells. Okay. And sometimes the solvents would dry in the cells and clogging up the cells, so that there would be, again, there would not be enough dissolved ink inside the cell, so there would be two scenarios. So of course, if you have too much ink, there would be another opposite effect called wet print. And then you have the daughter plate file. Daughter plate file is that you can get this daughter plate, which is supposed to scrape away the extra ink. But if there's some foreign material gets caught by this daughter plate, or if the plate is damaged, so the ink will get under the daughter plate and leave a line of ink on the surface of the cylinders. And then this would be passed to the paper, and then you will see a sort of color strip line. And also there are some other errors, for example, uneven application of ink, and also the damaged ink cells owing to the overuse, so that the cells become shallower and shallower. And another is that there may be some other reasons causing the damage. And then you may have a dirt on the printing cylinders. If it's not clean enough, you will also get some scratching effect. And then you will have the shifting of paper during the printing, so that you get the different colors shifting up, shifting down, to the left and to the right, etc. And sometimes the personnel there was a bit careless. They forget to put the paper to a particular printing unit, and then you miss one or more cards. So I will show you a few of these examples. So this is a sort of dry print. You can see from here that a double strip of the Chinese cents, the middle part becomes almost having nothing print on it. And this one is also the dry print. So that there would be insufficient ink in the cells. Okay. And this is interesting. You get a halo on the queen's head. Okay. And then this one is a wet print. So this over ink for this 50 cents. So it appears to be rough, and the shade is very deep. And compared to this one, this is a normal block, which is clearer. And the 50 cents and this Chinese word, they appear to be quite clear and tidy. And then this is the daughter plate file. You have some minor file. This one you get a white color going through from the left to the right. This one is more serious. Okay. Going to the either damaging of or maybe some things sticking onto the daughter plate, so that you can get this effect. And then you get this one also, daughter plate. This one just scraps away some of the ink on the cylinders. And you get some streaks. These are some of the streaks. If you look at these with care, you get some streaks. Seems to having something damaging or scratching the cylinders at these positions. Okay, so sometimes if uneven ink is applied, or if the uneven ink has not been removed by the daughter plate, you will get this effect. You get this white color over here. You get a red color. And also, you get a blue one here. And this one is a smart coated print. And also this one has a missing ink. So some part of the ink is missing for this particular. And so if you have some dirt or damage on the ink cells, you will get these effects. This one you can. These two are quite famous. This record in the number of the catalogs. That the 5 cents here. Is in fact occurs in the plate 1B at row 2, stem 2. We call it a missing bar to the 5. So it's due to the long use of the first printing. So sometimes this series, the whole 5 would be disappeared. And also this one, also this bar, the upper bar of the 5 is almost missing. So occurs on plate 1A at row 3 at the stem 1. And if you have something stick onto the cylinders, for example here, you get this color foul. This 10 cents here. A small one, but you can see it when you modifying this part. And you get an extra pearl earring here. These are for the queen here. So these are some of these dirt on the ink cells. Okay, so another is the missing color. So this sheet show you a missing object color, and it is easier to be seen through this plate number. So you should have a 6 plate. 6 number, but this one, the object has disappeared. Okay, so you see that this part would appear to be a bit pale. Okay, and also you get this sheet alignment of the paper is not perfect. Okay, so this one is the red one, shipping right. Okay? And this one is the blue background, shipping right. And this one is the blue color ship. This one, the blue coat ship left. Okay. And this one is quite an interesting one. The blue and red. This red color on the forehead of the queens. And this is called a dropping eyeball foul. Okay, the eyeball just coming out. And also this one is very extensively upshift of the yellow color. You can see that this part of the face of the queen is shifting up. And also this one, this number also shift up to here. Also, you can see that this one is the major shifting upward of the object color. You can see that this part should be on here, but it's going up to here. And also part of the queen's face also coming up to here. And this is a less upward shift, although it's also shifting up of the object color, but it's comparatively mild. So it only shift up to about here. And this one is double missing, okay, missing the yellow and the object color. So you can see the face of the print is quite pale. This one is only the oxide color missing. So this one is do not have the oxide color, but the face still have some. So the face is not very pale. Okay. Sort of errors throughout the different large format. So this is $20. Also oxide missing here. This one the red color shift left a little bit. And also this one is the blue background shifting right. Okay. So up to $20, you can still find this sort of printing file. But of course, it will become rarer when you. Okay. So there are some other printing errors not under those categories. For example, here you get the one. This one is completely missing. So I suspect that probably there will be an attachment of a strip of papers on the surface, so that the ink will not go to this sheet. Okay. And this one is an offset second impression. So so this is in fact an opposite, unlike those mentioned by Nick. This one is an opposite image. So you can see from here the Chinese word flip over to this the left side. Okay, so this is another one. Some of the sheet the printing machine in the opposite direction, so you get the inverted watermark. So the $20, you get a sheet of the inverted watermark, and this would be a rarity. Okay, so the next thing would be perforations. So I managed to get this book to show you how the see that first this you get perforating plate, and it would be this lady was drilling holes to also of course also drill this sort of this depression this compartment eventually, so that you can get this is a perforation block. This is a block with three set of combs. But of combs. Okay. And so this is the perforation machines. Okay. So I'm not too sure whether a single sheet is fed into the machine or more than one would be fed into the machine. But some ladies at the on the other side is receiving these finished products. Probably one at a time. It's highly likely. Thing to bang to make it fit properly. It seems to be, to me, that it seems to be quite not quite fixed. So whether there's something to fix it, really don't know about that. This is a perforation machine used at for this is print by this book by Harrison and Sons. So probably also dealing this. You get this slight misalignment, so you can get some of these horizontal perforations going up a bit, and the right one would also go right a bit. Okay, and it can go, for example, vertical perforation can go up 1 mm to the right or 0.5 mm to the left, and also you can get different sort of. So it seems that there seems things to to guide the seed to go into the perforation machine. And this one is quite famous error. You get these imperforations, and also you get this. This is the last 10 of the sheet, so you get here, and this was reported to be slipped out from a Kowloon post office, and it has a requisition V. And since then, it was broken down into several blocks and also pairs. Okay? And so this one has an additional perforation. So we can also see this sort of the rear perforations in this and the Gongli issues. And this one is and this one is another interesting one. You can, I suppose that you get the, it has a single comb head, so make 11 row so that you can get the perforation up here. The stem was fed from bottom to top, but after the 10th row, the 10th row, the 11th. And also you get this interesting thing, the paper fold during the perforations. So you can get this sort of effect. Okay? So that's it. I'm not so sure if there's some other I have not mentioned. If you know others that I have not mentioned, please inform me. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. I think it's a pretty comprehensive array of stuff that you've shown. Some of them, obviously, most of them are not catalogued, and then rarely actually seen, even in auctions and things. It's really quite a wonderful collection of errors that you've got, which fits the title. So anyway, any questions from members? I'll ask the Professor.
Not a question, but just a note. What is odd about these varieties? You don't see them now, but in the mid-80s, the market was flooded with them.
Yes.
And then for some reason, I think somebody, I don't understand why you don't see them now.
Well, of course,
John Bull catalogs used to be full of them.
Yeah, but of course, I got it from auctions. So they come out to the auctions from time to time. Yeah. But probably is held by the collectors now.
Yeah. So people bought them in the 80s and sat on.
Yeah.
Can I just
PC, can you stop sharing, please?
Sure. Yes. Let me stop sharing.
I really enjoyed the fact that a lot of your varieties are shown in the form of requisition number blocks. That is an extremely careful way to collect these things. It's very, very high quality.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've stopped share already.
That's not yours.
In fact, I'm trying to show it in the London exhibitions, but of course now it's delayed till postponed to the 2020.
I am viewing his screen.
That guy's arm must be getting tired.
We're still, Andrew can stop it, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Let me see. No, this is PC. This is actually from his computer.
Yeah.
I have a stop share already, is it?
Yes.
No, it's still no.
It's still there.
Still there?
There.
There we go.
Am I out loud?
Richard's there now.
Yeah. I'm wondering actually how many of the errors are actually smuggled, out of the post office, from the back door and the back of the lorry, because I mean you don't actually see them being sold over the counter for face value.
Yeah.
So they must, they pass through a lot of checkers, the checkers at the, of course, at the printers, the Harrisons, and then they picked up all the errors, all the missing perforations and things like that, missing colors, and then you come to Hong Kong Post Office, there would be another set of checkers that are checking all the stamps, and those people would probably pick them up and hide them in the drawers or something, and waiting to be smuggled out after the post office closed to collectors. So
Andrew,
It's called liberation.
Liberation.
Andrew, I've heard stories that ex-postmasters or of smaller they immigrated to Canada. The short of it, long and short of it is supposedly the family was saying there's a whole briefcase of these errors that this particular person was carrying. So never seen it. It hasn't flowed out yet, but it's a story I heard. So
modern errors are common for a lot of countries. It happens a lot in Canada too. And the United States has a ton of modern errors. I don't know about Britain, but definitely there's no question that these are not genuinely, accidentally sent to a post office and somebody buys a sheet and gets lucky like they did with the inverted Jenny. These are things that go out the back door by means that aren't supposed to happen. Yeah. But the philatelic market likes them, and these things go for big bucks. So the dealers aren't complaining.
The postal authorities may be doing it. It's a good source of revenue if they're going to be selling them.
Well, the postal authorities only get face value for them, so they don't benefit for the big markup that collectors then pay at auctions.
Yeah. Okay, so
with British multicolored photogravure, Harrison used to have more problems with them in that sort of period, the 60s, than later. Obviously, their techniques improved with practice. But some of the British missing colors did turn up on the post office counter.
Are you saying, Nick, that they were sold as that, or just ended up
some of the stories about how British missing color from the 60s come onto the philatelic market were that Joe Bloggs went to his local post office and he was sold a stamp and, oh, it looks different. Oh, and so he went back and bought the rest of the sheet. I'm not saying all of them, we have that account, but there are certainly some of them that were that is the story.
Okay. Any more questions for PC? Okay, if that, I think Richard has something to share from, is it either your own collection or Chris Norton's collection? Richard.
These are Chris Norton's errors. No errors here.
No errors in censorship marks?
Yeah, point taken. So anyway, let's see what we got. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay. As I say, these are Chris Norton's errors. I should add in that Chris Norton's errors are a rarity. The first one, he mentioned to me that this one he'd shown before in the registration Zoom meeting. But he thought it was worthwhile doing it again. And this is a Clark error where the year 1906 has been transcribed into 1990, which is obviously incorrect. That's the first one. And the second one is officially sealed labels. Webb doesn't mention errors in terms of the printing of these things, but Huygens did, and he illustrated two errors, which are shown at the left side. One with L general with an error in the spacing, and the other one with the C and I of office the wrong way around. And Chris shows one of the latter with the wrong office from his collection. And he says that there are mint examples of this error, which are scarce, but used examples are particularly difficult to find. And this one is the 20th of November, 1931 on an incoming piece from Vienna, in Germany, I think. And the third and fourth ones are both from Tianjin. The first one is the type A. And here, the year and the date have been wrongly juxtaposed. And you can see there it says October the 6th, 1913. But in fact, it's October the 13th, 1906. So this is as he says, a double error. Firstly, by the clerk, and secondly, by Webb, because he just thought the date was right. And finally, in Chris's Hong Kong Study Circle paper, which is on the website, he mentioned the reverse letter D on the Webb type B from Tianjin. And this is another Clark error. I think these reverse index letters, you can find them from many, many places. But he notes that this one appeared almost regularly every 6 days from May to July 1907, and rather more spasmodically thereafter. And this one is a 1908, 16th of September. So some food for thought, perhaps. Thank you.
I wonder whether the reversal of the index letters is a deliberate thing, because as you say, they're so regularly inverted. I just wonder whether there would be another clerk. You know, they have a spare clerk or a part-time clerk that they had to distinguish the two clerks.
Yeah, personally, I think that's correct.
Yeah.
That I think there are in some cases errors, if you want to call them that,
yeah.
And in other cases they are some form of identifier.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Right, good.
And sometimes they were just done for fun, like in the branch post offices.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Richard. I think we switched from the stamp errors now into postal history errors, and I think Charles Chan has a lot in store for us. Is he there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Right. So, all yours.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. Oh. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, at the very beginning, I'm asking Andrew whether the errors will be including postmark or not. He said, okay, show you the Facebook, the left bottom corner is with postmarking error. Therefore, I've make out this V2 presentation. So that we're talking about the postmarking error in Hong Kong and also including the trip reports. The first part I'm showing will be the stemless period. I think you guys must be very surprising. In the stemless period, there will be some postmarking error. The first cover I'm showing will be, actually it is entire. It is 1848, July 24th, and then paid entire from Hong Kong to London via Marseilles with the type 8 medium circle crown the pay at Hong Kong and stamp. Applied in error. The word paid, clearly seeing that, deleted by hand. And the rate marking is 1 ceiling 10 is using black pen, not in red. In red means that is prepaid, the postage prepaid. In black inking, that means it is collect from the recipient upon arrival. Below the covers is just the information concerned about the wood, rate, and marking. This cover is one of the 2 recorded covers wrongly struck with the crown paid at Hong Kong and stamp. Another cover, I believe, is in Doctor's hand, that showing the whole postmark, the crown paid at Hong Kong and stamp, totally deleted.
Really? Can't remember.
Can I remember? Okay.
I can't remember. Maybe.
Maybe so already, okay, in somebody's hand, okay. Okay, the right bottom corner showing you a publication in September 1945. That is in the foreign countries as that is a study by Leslie Ray, studying of the crown circle hand stamps. He said that those manuscript alterations are very unusual in this class of hand stamps. Therefore, this not only there were errors, one point need to be aware that, okay, at that moment of time, via Marseilles, all postage cannot be paid in Hong Kong. It was by reference to the post office regulations, the first post office regulations of 1844 April, to be effective on 10. I enlarge it. Clearly state that postage on letters via Marseilles to or from the United Kingdom cannot be paid here. That means in Hong Kong, cannot be paid in Hong Kong. Therefore, this entire clearly marked via Marseilles but said paid for being correct, and the GPO wrongly, and also this part also deleted. One interesting point is that, okay, This letter arrived from Natal, 19. Then by steamer Natal to Marseille, overland France, and arrived in London on 25th. Almost take 7 days, 6 days to arrive London. The question over here is why taking so long? Is it an argument for this unusual marking or else in London? Can anyone here can give an assumption or else or explanation?
Mr. Bolt. 7 days, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite long. 7 days, takes 7 days.
Usually about three or 4 days.
Yeah, sure. Usually 3 days, 4 days mostly.
Yeah, missed the boat from Malta to Marseille, and then missed the train from Marseille to the Channel, and then missed the Channel ferry to London.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
And also it is maybe, well, I'm thinking when the London postal card opened the mail, the mail bag, because he will count the letters according to the letter weight bill for those paid mail and unpaid mail. Okay, therefore he might find that it is quite strange in that way. Therefore, this letter postmaster or the senior officer in the CPO London for opinion or else. It may be, would it be a reason for its delay or else? I don't know. Hard to tell. But at least it is quite strange for me in that way. Okay, any question over this cover? If no, I go to the next. It is also another cover in the 1856 November. Interestingly, it is from the Treaty Port Southampton to UK. The back stamp, there were 2 back stamps over there. One is for sure November 10, 56. Under this, so rub by black pen, it is another web type 9 day stamp for the month of December. Right bottom corner, I enlarge it. You can see D over here, E over here, 1 0 1 8 5 6 Hong Kong, HON. Okay, can I see something? Okay, can you guys see it? More clearly? The type 9 day stamp wrongly struck on with a month error December, but actually should be November. Therefore, month is late and restruck again. This error is really, really unusual. that I believe it will be the only record for this month error to be correct in that way. And I have confirmed the root by reference to Kurt, and it's sound that it will be November, but not December for sure for this transit days there in Hong Kong. Okay, any question about this cover? No, then I go further. This one is a concern about the type 2 Shanghai double arc days there with the month error JY for January. And also it is the only record that without index for this days there using in Shanghai. It is a Shanghai days there. It's the paid rectangular paid in red applied in Hong Kong for a mail from Treaty Port to Hong Kong prepaid. The rate mark as a 1 shilling. It is the day stamp of Hong Kong type 9. Clearly had 8 JA January 8. And this one is the enlarged image of the Shanghai double arc day stamp. Clearly, no index. Usually it is index 1 in red inking using from June 1859 to November in black, index 3 in black inking from December 1860 to August 1862. You guys can see the Hong Kong PS Journal 10 of 2006 for discussion of this interesting Shanghai double arc day stamp.
Why can't the Hong Kong CDS be wrong?
Because you need to concern about the root.
Okay.
The marking is an important to confirm the root. How this letter shape, part of letter shape is shipping. Okay. Unfortunately, it is not a complete entire with a daylight over there. But indirectly, we can reconfirm the things by the root.
No, but it's still, you can still, there will be, there, you know, if the date, the Hong Kong date is wrong, I mean, the July, you could still find out that there's another ship. Would there be another ship on the July? The Shanghai, what I'm saying is that the Shanghai date is correct, the Hong Kong date is wrong.
I got your point.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, if you assume that the Shanghai date is correct, the Hong Kong date is wrong, then the route would be different by a different ship. So unless you've got a date written in the letter to confirm it.
Maybe another way around.
Yeah.
But at least.
Well, it's either one or the other is wrong. So.
Okay. You may be wrong. You may be right for that. But at least like there's a no index. Is a
yes.
Okay, it's already no index things. Okay. Therefore,
okay.
The point is it's still in error. Okay.
Yes.
Two errors over there. Okay, at least one is in bingo. Okay, another is a question mark. Okay, I buy your point. Okay, then I go next. Okay. Another one will be also the Shanghai double arc day step. It is the error for the not 18660, usually with 4-digit year. It is these two covers is with a 2-digit year only. In order to view it better, I think I turn it around and then enlarge it. Oh, these 2 digit is placed centrally. It's not 1H in front under inking. There's no spacing. It is another arc. There's no spacing for 2 digit of 1H.
Not enough 1/8.
Not in.
Not enough. They put it on top of the February.
Okay. Interesting, huh? Then I turn it around another. Okay. Sorry. And then enlarge it. It is a little bit, the 60 is a little bit left aligned, but it's still in central. Okay, 1/8 missing. And this is a 6. Therefore, your assertion for the 1/8 over here is also cannot stand. Okay.
You sure this is a 6 and not an 8?
6.
This is a 6, right? Okay.
A 6.
Right. Yeah, made a second. Yeah. Oh, hang on. Oh, this is London arrival. Right.
The Hong Kong Transit CDS is March 11. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Charles?
Yes.
What happened to the N of Shanghai?
What's N of Shanghai?
Or is my eyesight getting worse? Why?
Looks to be inking.
I think the one the N looks bigger.
The one in red is
Yeah, yeah, this right here. The
one at the bottom there.
Yeah, the N looks
Longer.
longer, taller. Yeah.
It would be bigger than the date stamp.
Yeah. I think it's just a way that it's struck. It's kind of, or maybe it's could be retouched. The other possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed.
I prefer to inking spur, maybe.
check it with a magnifying glass and see whether it's been retouched. Sometimes if it's not so clear, some people retouched it with red ink.
But it doesn't seem. Sorry.
Difficult to see on a scan.
Can I see?
Right.
Then I go to the next time period of Hong Kong, showing a cover 90 Hong Kong to UK, franc 10 cents to red, okay, with the Hong Kong CDS, the index D reversed. I have seen off cover loose stand with a postmark variety for the direction, but on cover is quite scarce or say rare. Okay. And this is the cover back, the arrival day stamp. Okay, done. It is a 1/5 June 28th cover from Canton through Hong Kong to UK. Interestingly, the back stamp, the transit back stamp in Hong Kong, using official pay Hong Kong CDS. I enlarge it a bit. More clear? This is very unusual using in that way. Maybe serve low, CDS on table, and then the clerk just pick up the wrong one and then just chop it.
But official pay is usually in red, so yeah. Must have picked up the wrong CDS.
Maybe, well, when I see this inspect this CDS official pay, I cannot see any red remains over there. You guys can see. No red inking remains.
Doesn't make sense. Must be a mistake to use an official paid as a arrival. Is it a arrival?
Transit. Therefore, it is no sense. I don't know. And well, if it is not,
got to be an error.
Mistake over you just pick up the chop by mistake. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because the point is that the official pay CDS, if it was continuously struck in red, when you dim on the black ink pad and then struck on the paper, there would be some red inking remains over there.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see it is a purely black color. Black. Okay. Don't know why. Any question? Okay. And I go on. Okay, the stamp period, the trade reports. The red Amoy Pay CDS with month error. To my knowledge, there are 4 example records. 66, February 26. The month FE, February, inverted. Can you see? For a better reading, I think I enlarge it. Can see? E, F. Very clear. The second one I show here is Amoy Pay, also CDS, 23rd of February, 1866. Oh, sorry, February 24th, 1865. F, inverted. You can see there's a bottom F. The E looks to be normal. Bloody hell, it is a 96 olive vista. And the sources come from eBay in May 2016. That is the picture I kept. The third example is from a fellow collector, 25th of February, 65. Quite clearly, FE inverted. It is also from the same fellow collector, 66, February 23rd. I think it's a E, should be E inverted. F unclear over here. But highly probably, if the F occupied by the E, I think this one will be, F will be also inverted. But it's unclear to show. Till present, I recorded 4 examples only. Any question for this page? Oh, 96 cents olive vista with Amoy Pay CDS in error. I think it's a crazy price. I cannot remember at that moment of time in 2016 what was the realization price. I can't remember. Okay, next page. Canton. The C1 error with B62 recancellation. It is a blue C1. It's a black C1. Recancel black B62. Supposedly, perhaps the Hong Kong postal clerk working at light time under the poor gas lighting, they're not aware this stem also in mauve. The cancels in blue, hard to see. Therefore, consider it is a missing cancel male. Therefore, get the chop B62 to reapply. We cancel it. But this one is strange because well, it is in black on a mouth 10 cents. Should be easily to recognize, but maybe the postal card may be sleepy at the night time and struck again. No idea. Next. The MR as the Facebook showing that. Okay. And known in March, April, June, and July in 1891. Per the Hong Kong Philatelic Society newsletter 1999, October record. No idea why it happened, because it happened for several months of time. Therefore, for the duty shift of the PO car for the emergency looks to be not probable. Run recorded on cover. I took the picture from the auction catalog and then to show in that way. The auction house is in Asia. For sure, it should be in the year 1891, because on this cover, there was transit backstamp and arrival backstamp, 91. And the postal rate, 7 cents. It is a very short life postal rate to UPU countries. Later on, change back to UPU countries, 10 cents. But for to UK, remaining 7 cents. Okay, next. Large Canton CDS without index. From Hong Kong to Canton. Sam, I think you are well aware of this. We have discussed this item for a long time, right, Sam?
Yes, it was pointed out to me by a collector in around 20 years ago. He passed away. He's saying that Ober is actually the writer. In this case, is Professor Ober. I have another of his cover. Ober was writing to the daughter or somebody, and his premises is Ober was a spy. So the remove index was like a censor. He had, at one point in time, he has like 5 covers. Charles, I sent you all the photocopies of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it only happened in this particular correspondence without index. So, you know, take it for what it is. He's saying is like a censor marking or whatever. So anyway.
But you recall that I have also found another postcard from Ceylon to Hong Kong that written to a German also that not over. I think no, I recall it's not over. That also with the back stamp also without index. I wrote this interesting matter in the newsletter. Hard to tell because the World War I not yet outbreak at the moment in time. Therefore, it's a kind of censorship marking. No idea. Like I say, no idea. Okay. Next cover. Next. T4. Okay. On QE, T4 type A on QEII so it's quite rare already. Okay. And this one's 05 with the date and month inverted. And also it is later than Webb's record and also Schoenfield's record by 3.5 months.
Has Valentine's Day started by then? Anybody know?
I beg your pardon?
Has Valentine's Day started? February 14.
To celebrate that day?
Well, 1904 or 5, I don't know.
When the Valentine's Day started, I don't know. But it is interesting era. Another type A CDS era will be the upward of a C facing upward. And for examples records, the day showing, I think it's in February 1905 also. That the value of the stamps and the dates are recorded as at the right side. It is a it is a Hankow type G2 CDS with the error of index C reverse, facing left instead of right. Believe it is the only recorded cover. Index C reverse situation found in Servlow off-cover stamps. I think it's quite rare. I think around 10 records, according to a fellow collector saying, and all dated April 15, 95. Perhaps on that day, the postal clerk, there was a duty shift of a postal clerk for reasons of emergency, sick, or maybe his wife is delivering child, therefore run away. Another clerk was bring in so that to reverse the index in order to distinguish the two shifts. It is my suggestion only. Any question? Okay, go next.
Charles, just to add, this particular cover, this is a huge correspondence, and there's a lot of covers even with dowagers. So this particular person was received a lot of mail. Take a look at Guan's book. He has a lot that was addressed to this particular person from Hankow.
Yeah, maybe this guy have a lot of commercial relationship in Hankow with this firm. Arnon, I cannot read, sorry. It's a commercial company.
Anho lasted until the 1930s even, so
yeah.
Very long history from Hankow.
Yeah, for those supplies, this firm is with close relationship, business relationship with the guy. Therefore, quite a large correspondence survive nowadays. Okay, I go next. Year 19. Hankow year 19 era. There's a news I consider it will be very late use on the QEII issues, but looks unlikely because according to Prowl, QEII issues was invalid to use after 1st of May 1909. Therefore, using QEII stamps 10 years later in 1919 looks to be remote. Then some suggestion come out. Maybe there was a short of a zero in Hankow. Therefore, they use 19 to replace it. It appeared in the first half month of January 1900. January 6th, January 12th. The left side, $2 physical comes from Philip Wong, a fellow collector. Okay, see the coming Hong Kong Philatelic Society Journal in to be issued in 2021. Maybe one. I will write an article to discuss about this 19-year era in Hankow. Just advertisement for Professor Saul. Hand count type K3 also with error of index C facing down and facing left. CDS using for just 2 years. Earliest record date is May 9th, 13, and sorry, earliest record date is May 9th, 13, and the latest record date is May 1st, 15, as mentioned by Webb and Sconfield. Block of 4. Index C facing down. This one index C facing left. Any question on this page? Then I go downward. It is a large hand count CDS. No index. The inking looks to be bullish black inking. But the stem may be put into water or bleach or bleaching because, well, it looks, the basic stem looks not comfortable for the color. Therefore, may be put in water for too long in order to the black color, black inking discolor looks to be bullish. May not be may not be an error, hard to say, but for sure, no index over here. Cannot see. Channel for pin. Rarely used in 19. Compare with the index C, latest record date, September 15. This one is September 3rd, 19. 4 years later. Channel for pin. Then I go next, if no question. I think this already showed before, if there's some meeting before, the high hull, index C, facing down, facing up, okay? Facing up, saying that, well, a web saying is such in 1894, it is a little bit earlier, December 19, half month earlier. And this on a postcard, Sam has many, okay? Going down. Lingpo. It is a very interesting situation to overstruck the day 2 to replace the 1. The postal card ensured that the day is the 21st. Maybe later on found error, therefore, using the day snake to strike on. You can see the 2 is a little bit to the right, not aligned well. I don't know why they do not just hand start to strike on in that way. And it was struck quite heavily, that is shown on the back of the stems. Okay, I go next. The large link pole CDS facing up, the index C facing up. We are saying that it is in 1909. This one is 1 month earlier, in December 1st of 08. Another example is the link pole, the index C facing left, not mentioned by Webb or Sconfield. But more rare and consider about less than 10 recorded. It is a cover, 1909, April 27, from Ningpo to UK via Siberia, paying the 4 cents imperial penny letter rate per half ounce. With a large Ningpo CDS, cancel it, the index facing up. I'll enlarge it so that you guys can look it clearly. Okay. Okay, I come to Shanghai. That is an interesting cover that may have discussions. That is a reconciliation, a text cover from Hong Kong to Seattle, US. With a text mark T, Hong Kong, but recancelled by Shanghai BPO CDS. At the back, with a Shanghai BPO CDS as transit, San Francisco, Seattle arrival. My question is that, is it just as a because when we are looking to other ports, we can also easily to find, well, the stamps are recanceled by other ports. It is a Canton Strait overstrike by S1. This is Amoy type T overstruck by Shanghai type T. It is a large Amoy CDS. Fuzhou recancelled by Hong Kong CDS. Small Huaihao recancelled by Hong Kong CDS. Why so many recancellation? Is it an accidental error or such kind of a recancellation is with intention? I have an assumption on that, okay? May not work, but just saying out for your consideration. Shanghai BPO CDS. When it is a transit CDS, it is finished. No need to put another CDS on front. But I'm thinking that when the mail are shipping from Hong Kong to Shanghai, the Hong Kong letterway bill, the letter bill will underpay the postage with tax, a tax cover, and mark on the letter bill. I don't think it is a close mail back from Hong Kong via Shanghai to US. The mail bag was opened by the postal clerk in Shanghai BPO. When they mail to US or the nearby ports or northern ports, sending to Shanghai for transmission to USA, Trans-Pacific, hooking together, Shanghai BPO will redrawn a letter bill for US Post Office. Therefore, they will recount all the things together with Hong Kong in order to ensure that this tax letter to be duly aware by US PO. They will enter it separately, and the clerk reapply the Shanghai BPO CDS on front in order to evidence he had done the job. That is my suggestion. I don't know how you guys thinking. Hello, guys, can you hear me?
I suggest it's possibly that the tax mark was put on in Shanghai and they would have to restamp the cover. That's what I think.
Looks like a Shanghai tea.
Not Hong Kong tea?
No, I think it might be. It might be Shanghai tea. The Hong Kong tea is a little bit longer. I think the top, the serif on the left and right. I think I've seen similar used in Shanghai. Don't know why Shanghai bothered to do that, because you got enough stamps. You know, you got four 20-cent stamps already. But just don't know why Shanghai decided to weigh the letter and found it overweight, found it underweight, I suppose.
But it was the duty of the dispatch PO to determine the postage, right?
Yes. Well,
none of it.
Yeah, when they have it reweighed, then they found out it's too heavy. I don't know. I mean, that's why you've got to see Shanghai CDS on the front, because Shanghai did something to it. Put on a ship to USA.
It is interesting.
Right. Okay. So we move on.
Okay. So the B plays sideways. Okay, but Mick Goldsmith studying saying that it is a reverse index B, but actually it is a pretty sideways. Okay, just make a correction to Goldsmith saying. Okay. 撈公草 in blue, in wash blue inking. It is Ian's new type I CDS or Plough D4 structured with also the wash blue inking. And the right side is a very interesting on 26, the year 26, still on the Hong Kong stamp, not. Okay, that's end my.
Wow. Okay, anybody got any questions?
Can I just ask, the very first cover, that was, did you say the date of that was July 1848?
Is it this one?
The very first, your very first cover, the stampless, is that in France, July 1848, did you say? Yeah. It just occurs to me, could the June uprising in Paris had been suppressed by the end of June, but could mail and post in France still have been disrupted in July, so that would account for the delay? It's a question for the people who are experts on this, on early mail routes, which are way out of my league, I'm afraid.
I think Nick is talking about the delay. You said there was a 9 days delay.
Yeah.
From Malta.
Yeah, that's right.
To the UK. Why did it take so long?
7 days.
Yeah. So you know, they just had a revolution.
Yeah, possible.
But it's a question for the people who know about these things. I don't.
Right. Okay. Any question? Any other questions? I think that the Lu Kung Tao, the last one with the wash blue inking, I think I've seen them before. So I think maybe just
this one?
Maybe they use a wrong mixture or something.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's just sometimes you know, they just use a different ink mixture, wrong mixture of ink or wrong solvent or something. It changed the color of the ink. Anyhow. Yes, thank you, Charles, for really showing us lots of interesting material. And I mean, several items need careful thinking.
Charles, could you go back to that first one again, just very quickly? I've got my Bible in front of me.
And Charles, yes.
Let me do again. Sorry.
Hold on. The first one.
Okay.
Went by the Ripon.
This one?
Yeah. Has a London arrival 25th of September. (1848), right?
48.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
The Hindo stand arrived at Southampton on the 25th.
Offloaded, it won't say.
25th is the beginning of the day stamp of London.
Yeah. Well, they would have arrived in London the same day.
No, it would have gone by train.
Yeah, by train.
Yeah.
If the boat arrived in the morning. it would arrive in the afternoon in London on the same
Yep.
day. Is it 25th? Oh, yeah.
25 NO25 1848. Clear?
Yeah. So Hindostan arrived 25/6. Can you just show me the routing you've got? So 25th of July. 25th of September. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong thing. No, apologies, senior moment.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah, cool.
Clear your point?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, I hand back to doctor, okay?
Okay, so I think before we round out for the afternoon or evening, or I think Harmon has got just a few things he wishes to show. So maybe we let him for to show briefly, and then we could conclude the meeting. Harmon?
Hello.
Yeah, you got something?
I'm going to share my screen here. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. How do I get my, somebody tell me how I get my.
Click on the file. Have the file open and then click on it.
Where's the file word?
No, your file.
Oh, my file. Thank you.
It's better if you have the file already open.
Yeah, well, I'm an amateur here. All right. This is going to be a quick go through here, but I've got 1893 upside down. That was on December the 7th, just like the one below it. One is an index D, one is an index B. I'm not going to pretend to try to explain why they're different, but I feel lucky that I have two that are like that. And I've got one where the index E is reversed. I've got one where the entire date, August 2nd, is upside down. I've got a 61 instead of a 19. I've got where the February the 14th is not aligned. And that's all I've got to show.
All right, thank you.
So far?
Yeah. Never seen.
Anybody want to see any of those again?
That's because they just changed the index letter for the time. They'd not noticed they got that upside down.
Well, would the index letter have been to a different clerk, and the clerk picked up and put his B or D in there instead of checking the date?
You never know until you find the actual day book whether somebody signed for it.
Okay.
That's the only way you know. It could well be a genuine mistake, or it could be deliberate.
Yeah.
A kind of to identify different cloud using it.
Okay.
You never know, but there's always a day book where you can actually find some particular person signing for it.
Okay. Well, these are just some things I picked up over the last 40 some odd years that I actually had scanned, and I just pulled them out and just put them all on the same page for you guys to look at.
Yes,
Hope you enjoyed.
I like them in color, I got
Well, not everything was in color.
Scans, yeah. Anyhow,
okay.
Great. So I think if nobody got any other things to show, I think it's been an extremely interesting meeting. I never thought that the errors. I thought they'd just be restricted to printing errors and perforating errors, and I never thought that there's so many interesting things in postal history and wrong rates and wrong markings, and it's just a very, very interesting meeting. Thanks thanks for joining us and, and sharing your stuff. I mean, it's very interesting. So anyway, well, there's nothing more, and I'd like to conclude the meeting by thanking FIAP, as usual, for sponsoring us and all of you, for listening to the speaker so patiently, and maybe I learned a few things during the time. And then of course you could revisit the whole meeting if you go to YouTube, maybe say in a couple hours time. Okay, so thanks very much for joining, and have a good afternoon and good evening and good night. Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.